Hi, everybody. Welcome to Monday night edition of our podcast, which has normally been run on a Tuesday night lately. But today we're going to do it on a Monday night. Next week, it's Easter, so we'll be doing it on a Tuesday night because we're all going to be celebrating Easter, I guess. Okay, so before I run around the table, I hope you've all had a great week. It's been a really interesting weekend of football from top to bottom, really. As always, people, when you're tuning in, get involved, drop your comments in, fire us with some questions, anything you would like us to discuss as well. It's as much about you as it is us. So don't forget, whatever you're watching on, you can drop a comment on, and hopefully, I'll never give you a guarantee, we'll pick it up. We'll crack on now because I've lost what I was going to say. But anyway, it's been a beautiful week of sunshine. So, Nigel, how's your week been? And are you all well? And have you enjoyed the weather?
Yes. Yeah, it's been good. Good weekend. Busy at work on Saturday, but loads of football on this week. So it's been good viewing. And, the Premier League's all over at the moment, isn't it? But all the other leagues are still up for grabs.
Oh, yeah. We've got a lot to cover off, actually, and what a weekend of football coming up as well with the whole like Friday and Monday scenario, especially in some of the non-league games. Unbelievable games coming up. Tom, how are you? And you obviously will give us a bit of an update on your trip to Leicester St Andrews, was it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, really well. Thank you very much. Been out enjoying the sun, as I say, mate, at Leicester St Andrews on Saturday, which was a fantastic day out. Really, really busy one on Sunday, out and about with the kids and whatnot. You know what those days are like. But back in the calm of the proper football.
I'm on the grandchildren thing now. See, so
yeah.
Once you're tired of them, mate, you send them home. Job done. Okay. Now, our guest, I'd like to introduce you to Adam Etheridge, who is, I said that right, didn't I, Adam?
Oh. Close enough.
Adam is the Secretary of Quorn, who are now the current Northern Premier Midland Division champions. I was with you last week, which you kindly invited me down to experience the whole trophy lifting and everything. What great day for the club. And we are going to talk a lot more about Quorn a little bit later on in the show and get a feel for what an experience the club have had, plus what you're going to look forward to, So, yeah, we'll touch on that a lot more. So, I'm going to crack straight in, people. Like I say, get involved, drop your comments on, and I will attempt to pick them up and answer them. Okay, where do we start? I'll tell you what, let's start with you. And I forgot, I'm having a bad day here, and it's the sun's got to my head. Tom, you were out and about. You were you were the only one out and about this week. You made a visit into Leicestershire, just as I did when I went to Quorn. Tell us a little bit about your trip. And the article will be out when? Well, let us know anyway.
I'm hoping the article is going to be done by tomorrow. So I'm sure that'll be on a page sort of tomorrow, late afternoon, evening. I'm almost there with it now, in fairness. But yeah, in terms of the day, honestly, couldn't have possibly wished to have gone to a more welcoming place. Literally from sort of walking through the gate for the first time. Everybody took the time to speak to me, and usually, obviously, when you all know Gary as well, when you're trying to get people obviously to come for interviews, there has to be a bit of explaining, a bit of coaxing, and a bit of sort of you have to draw them in a little bit. But I was being approached by people left, right, and centre. Can I come and talk to you? And I was just sport for choice with people to talk to and share their views. And can't thank them enough for how hospitable they were and how well they treated me, man. It was
And
a brilliant day.
They're a step 6 side, is that right?
Yeah, they're a step 6 side. They're in the Midland Football League Division 1. And on the day, actually, they were already guaranteed a playoff spot. But they needed a win and results to go their way on the day to secure a home playoff tie.
So that's the same league as Nuneaton Town, isn't it?
Yeah, so obviously Nuneaton have run away with that league, as we know.
Yeah, they're champions, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And
as I say...
United, who we visited on their FA Vase game against Quorn, they're in that league, yeah.
They are, mate, they are. But yeah, as I say, they secured a home playoff spot on the day against Alexander New Parks, ended up 5-2. And they just dominated the game from start to finish. And team behind them, Cradley, they got beat as well. I think that finished 3-0 or 3-1. And it sort of secured their home spot. So they're looking to push forward now. They've got a good advantage going into the playoffs. You're going to look forward to keeping my eye on them because they're a club on the up. They're a club moving forward with the right people. Really, really good place.
So just reading this that's come through from Hello Terry. Don't think I've ever seen you on before, so welcome. Hope you enjoy the show. What title race is in the National Premier League West Division? Widnes. Yeah, I have seen Widnes on top. Hendersford. We all know about Hendersford. You know about Hendersford as well, don't you? I know it was Leek Town where they lost a lot of players to Hendersford. Hendersford got a bit of money at the moment, I think, as well. And they're in second place.
Yeah, interestingly enough, we beat Leek Town in the FA Trophy last season, and then a lot of those players went to Hensford in the summer, obviously, and Hensford absolutely destroyed us in the FA Trophy this year. But they're looking a little bit unstoppable at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them take on top spot. Selfishly, I'd rather Widnes win it and Hensford don't go up because we'd want to go into the south, and I don't know what will happen if Hensford are potentially there. So fingers crossed we don't end up in the NPL Premier.
Yeah, well, we'll touch on that actually a bit more. But yeah, well, Terry, look, thanks for that because we're going to try and cover off some of the leagues. But yeah, like you say, Widnes, they still playing at the rugby ground. An amazing stadium for that level, isn't it? It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, I believe so.
But and Hendersford, they got a tidy stadium as well. We're getting busy here. Let's have a look. Can you give a shout to my podcast? I think come Mark and Joel's cod part. Someone else say it. Help me out.
Mark and Joel's Codpast.
The cod. It is Codpast.
It says Codpast as the title, and then he said in the comment, "Can you give a shout out to my podcast from?" I don't know where from, but he just says from.
Yeah. No. Actually, I am aware of this. It is a good podcast, actually.
No.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that.
Shout out to it. Cod's going up in price, by the way. Getting very expensive to have a bit of fish and chips. They were saying on the radio today could be as much as £15 for cod and chips. What's going on? What is going on? Congratulations to Quorn. I look forward to coming to Quorn. Yes, we got beat last time at Quorn 4-2 away. So Terry, who is it you support, mate? Sorry, I didn't pick up on that. Let us know. Wow, we're getting.
I'm guessing we've got a lot of Leek Town supporters in the.
Mate, we had a fantastic trip to Leek this year, a couple of months ago. Absolutely fantastic. Great.
I've got to say that there were lovely people when they came to play at our place last year. And
Nigel,
if we do end up
tell them, come on, talk food now. What the steak pies like at Leek Town?
Pies.
Oh, mate. They were something else, though, weren't they?
Best pies so far, isn't it?
Oh, they were.
I'd pay the entrance. I'd pay the entrance fee just to go in and get a pie and then go somewhere else.
There you go. Honestly, these pies were that good. They were absolutely astonishing, and they sourced them from a local butcher as well, which is really, really good. But yeah, right, okay. Hey up the Rocket Man. That's your mate, Nige.
Yeah,
it's your mate. Rocket Man, I've got to say this, mate. When you came up to us at Leek Town, obviously, you know, because you're proper into Elton John and obviously you wanted to get talked to Nigel, who knows Elton, and I must admit, I thought you was Elton John for a little while. You look like him, my friend. You really, really do.
We probably could have spoke. We could have spoke football, Elton John and Watford for the whole match. He's that much of a follower.
Wow, brilliant! Yeah, no, he was a good guy. Well, I've never had that many comments come up so quick at the beginning of a show. So, all right, so we're hoping to have that article out. Let's get back to the business. We're hoping to have that article out for your trip to Leicester St Andrews. And Leicester St Andrews are they in the playoffs or are they?
Yeah. They'd already secured a playoff spot prior to my visit. But what they were trying to do is they needed, obviously, from the past, just to win the last 2 games to get to finish third, which would guarantee them a home playoff. But what happened on the day? Obviously, they won 5-2, and then the team behind them lost. So that means that they're now guaranteed a home playoff spot as well. So that obviously.
Can they catch either St John's? Do you know?
No, they're finishing third. It's guaranteed they're going to be finishing third. So yeah, that's said and done.
That's quite an interesting league. Like you say, with Hendersford in there, and Widnes and that, there's some good sides in there. But okay, so we started with that. Let's talk about Leek Town, then we'll come to the rest of the football. Sorry, let's talk about Leek Town. Let's talk about Quorn. Before we do, I'm just going to give everyone a reminder of what Leek Town's all about. And this was part of our article, which you can catch our article on our website, which I'll put up in a moment on the ticker tape. So the article on Quorn Town is up and out there. But here's a montage I put together. Reference. Okay, I'll cut that short because it's probably a bit too long to have on. But that gives you some idea. I was really surprised, Adam, when I walked through the door to what a great little facility you got there. The whole setup, the stadium, clubhouse, a proper setup, ready for step 3, really, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks, Gary. It is a nice little ground. It was a step 4 ground many years ago. But we were actually relegated for ground grading at the time. But all that work's long since been done. We're practically ready for step 3 already. There's just a tiny bit of work that will get done over the summer. So there's no worries about getting everything done in time for the end of March or being relegated or anything like that. So we're practically already there. It's just a couple of benches need to go in and a couple of gates so that we can segregate, and that's it. But we'll get that done in the summer. But the ground itself is a bit of a tribute to the chairman, really. He's almost single-handedly built it. He's financed the whole thing himself, and it's largely part of it was through the sale of Luke Varney to Charlton Athletic. Crew Alexandra. But then when he was sold onto Charlton Athletic, we had I think it was a 20% clause in there, which earned the club £500,000. And fair play to the chairman, he pumped all that back into creating that ground that you see now.
Wow. And one of the interesting things you say, so you've got, in actual fact, you've got 396 seats exactly along one side, which obviously the seating is obviously a key thing for most clubs. It's like when I was talking to Carlton Town, if they went up, they'd have to build more facility. They've probably got a couple hundred seats, if that, I think, so they would have to add seats or stadia to the ground to meet the requirement, a little bit like Harbour Town about to do this season. They've had to increase their stadia. Yeah. So, but the interesting thing that you mentioned to me was, so you currently hold 1,400, but if next season you have another stonking season and you're flirting around the playoffs or the top end of the league, you have to start considering almost doubling your capacity to achieve step 2. Is that right?
Yeah. So the way it's been explained to us by the FA recently was that they have done away with a minimum capacity at step 3. So our current 1,477 is enough for step 3 now. But they have suggested you should have a minimum of 1,950, and we'll work towards that during the season. We've got
you've got
a bit of space behind one of the goals where we can
quite a lot actually. Yeah, that's a good bit of space.
So we can put a terrace in there to easily get us up to that 1950.
What is their reasoning for that, Adam? Just out of interest.
It's to do with Martin's Law, which was a bit of legislation that is set to come out fairly soon with regards to the Manchester Arena bombing, and it's about anti-terrorism legislation and the impact that's going to have on non-league football with regards to increased costs for clubs and having to have anti-terrorism officers and a lot of insurance in place. So in order to keep non-league football viable, they've tried to do things along the lines of have an agreement with the government where we don't have to have that minimum capacity stipulation. If you're not going to have more than 800 people regularly, you fall into a different category. And best will in the world, I don't think we'll be regularly around the 800 mark. So we should be okay with that. But they did say that to get up to step 2, we'd need to have the capacity to increase that capacity to 3,000.
That's really interesting, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really, it's just
contradictory somewhat, though. In a way.
Yeah. Well, you should have seen the initial email when it came out. You think that was contradictory? The email had some information. It had a typo in it, which made.
What does that not surprise me?
It was baffling, but. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
Nothing more.
That's a bit of
a. Great day had by all, everyone at the club. Obviously, fantastic day, lifting the trophy. That's all done now, and now it's to business. Like you say, the stadium itself doesn't have a tremendous amount to do. What about on the field in terms of, I know maybe you can't say everything, but certainly, are you going to have to strengthen the squad? Do you feel? I mean, the squad have had such a great season. Is there a need to strengthen the squad, or do you feel confident that they can cope with step 3? It's quite a big jump up, isn't it?
It is a big step up. I think the players that we've got are probably, well, I mean, personally, I think they're capable of come to be competing at step 3. Whether that is enough to meet the ambitions that we have, I don't know. But only time will tell. But I mean, we played a lot of step 3 opposition in pre-season. We beat Alvechurch. We beat step 2 Brackley Town. Who else did we beat? But I mean, it's pre-season anyway. What can you tell about pre-season? But I do have a lot of belief in the players that we have, and it's not so much because I think we're more than the sum of our parts as well as a team, because there's a fantastic team ethic there, which is I think testament to the manager.
I think like obviously you and the club have got to decide really whether you're happy consolidating yourself in that level of league this season, or whether you still want to go up. Because, like you're saying, if your ambition is to go up another step, then obviously you probably would have to strengthen your squad, wouldn't you?
For me personally, I think survival has got to be the target, but I don't make these sort of decisions. But I'd be delighted with that. You know, I think playing at step 3, that I don't think there'll be any village sides at a higher level next season. So I think we're already punching above our weight to a certain extent. We've kept within our budget, so we don't spend more money than we bring in. And if we're going to do that again next season, then there's not really a massive budget to be strengthening greatly anyway. But I know the manager's ambitious and he does want to bring in a couple more players. We definitely need a bit more squad depth than we've had this year. We have had a lot of problems with injuries, but we've managed to get through those. And just looking at the results, the fact that we've only lost one game this season with the injuries that we've had, when we went into the season, the start of the season, two of our front three missed 3 months, and we haven't missed a beat. And we've been able to get through that by bringing in loan players. Whether that's a feasible option for next season or not, I don't know. But we'll add a bit.
What I think we're missing here a little bit, and a point that hasn't been made. I don't think that the club holds all the cards in terms of the players' future, because obviously they'll be making their own decisions as well. So you may even be forced into the market. Exactly, you're not going to retain everybody in this squad. I wouldn't have thought. Certainly not the high performers. There's going to be offers for them guys. So how do you guys sort of go about attacking the market and replacing those types of players that have been so successful this season?
Well, part of what the managers managed to create is a real team atmosphere there, and a lot of the players this season have had offers from Step 3. We've managed to fend off quite a lot of Step 3 sides to keep the squad together. So Kane Noble's had an offer of Step 3, Corey Grantham, and plenty of others as well. But we've managed to keep that squad together. They're a very tight-knit group. They're all fairly local to the club, and hopefully they want to stay and carry on what they've already achieved. But a lot of that's going to be out of our hands.
I think temptation is like you say, if say the top 3 teams that are expected to be up there at the end of next season come in for some of your players, then like obviously as a player you're going to think, well, I want to get to the next level. Am I going to get to the next level with this team?
Yeah.
Although I love this club and I love the team, but the carrot's there for the minute. That's got to be the hardest part of being a smaller club, trying to keep hold of your good players.
I think it's also the problem of going up, isn't it? When you get, especially in a side that has done so well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few clubs eyeing your manager up, But
that's
and so well, you bring a spotlight onto the club when you do that well, and obviously going up, So I guess it is one, but hopefully, like you say, if you've got that ethos in the team, then it's negligible what that might impact. So that'd be great. I mean, and it must be good for a player. Nigel, I know what you're saying about that. But obviously, I've done so well this season. It's phenomenal. Would a player be tempted to want to see how they can achieve the similar, maybe not similar goal difference or whatever you've had there, but to see if they can replicate some of the success in the higher league? Would that be a turn on to a player, Nigel?
Definitely. I mean, like I said, you could be as good mates with all your teammates as you want, but football is, I think, generally whatever league you're playing, you want to go up to the next league. You want success, and they've smelt it with your team at the moment. But realistically, they're saying, like you just said, you'll be happy if you stay up. Just consolidate yourself. But these players might want what they had at the end of this season, next season, and if they can only see it within the first top 3 clubs in that league, when they come dangling the carrot, they're probably going to. It's hard to say no. If you're a footballer, you want to get to as highest level that you can get to, which was always the way I played. If conference was the highest standard I could get to, at least I'd have finished my career saying, I got as high as I could. And that's the hard thing.
I presume your budget will increase on the basis that you would think your gates are going to increase. I mean, away support will increase as well. Some big clubs down there will bring quite large followings over to Quorn, I would imagine. So hopefully you'll have more income.
Well, we need to sit down and have those sort of conversations as to what we can afford to spend. But one of the main things that's going to impact that is which division are we going to be in. If we end up in the NPL Premier, I don't think we'll see the sort of away support numbers that we would if we were in the Southern League. So that's going to have an impact on it. And also, if we're in the NPL Premier, then our travel budget probably more than doubles. You know, so there are factors that need to go into it. Absolutely.
And we've discussed this a few times in the past, where clubs that we've been to and whatever else have been proper shafted by the league and put in, Colton being one. There was another one down in Surrey somewhere that got really hurt, because the biggest problem, as well as the fact that the difference between being south and north is probably about £10,000-12,000 in travel expenses. So that in itself is huge money. But you know, the biggest problem is the availability of players, and you're going to have a bigger squad. And I know this because not if you've got to go up to play Newcastle on a Tuesday night, not all your players are going to be available for that necessarily if they've got work commitments that they can't get out of. You know, so I know from other clubs that they had to expand the squad because of the relentless travel with the distances they would have to go. So you're right, that until you know, it's going to be very difficult to plan.
Yeah, that's it. We've just got to sit and wait for the next month to find out. Well, probably a month, maybe more, but we'll figure it out. And it's just a tense, nervous waiting game at the minute.
It's been a brilliant season, phenomenal season. You know, was it 20 points clear?
I think it's 17 at the moment, but at a point we were 22 points clear.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. And you are, I think you're going to be one of two village sides in Step 3, the other one being Farsley Celtic, who are a village side. So again, what can you say? Village side.
Oh, might be in the same division.
Yeah. Hopefully not, though. Yeah,
hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Fingers crossed.
Just one last bit there. Darren, who's one of the people who goes around, I had a feeling he would ask this question of you, mate. So what Richard Lavery was a Quorn manager before taking over at the Poppies. How did he get on as Quorn boss? Up to you if you want to answer that.
It was actually Richard that got me involved at the club. We briefly worked together at Nuneaton in, I want to say 2019. And he knew I lived in the village, so when the secretary here left, it was Richard that asked me to come in. And I remember when Richard took over, because I was working at I've worked at quite a few clubs. I get around, and I was working at Anstey, and I spoke to him about starting at Quorn, because I actually bumped into him in Starbucks the morning before his first game. And at that point, Quorn were hovering above the relegation zone. They'd had disappointing start to the season. Richard, he helped them survive that year. The following year, they progressed quite a bit, and then he led them to promotion from Step 5, and did a good job. Step 4, we were, even then we were probably punching above our weight last season, but he left us in about February in a pretty good position. He'd put a good squad together, and we took Ant Carney as player manager, and he helped lead that squad that Richard had built into the playoffs last season. And it's still the bulk of that squad that Richard Lavery built there that's got us to where we are now. You know, there's still quite a lot of players there that have been with us 3 or 4 years. So he did a really good job. Took the club from the foot of Step 5 to on the edge of the playoffs in Step 4.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've met him when I went to do one of the things at Kettering, you know. Met him there. And again, they're in a league where it's up and down. Bedford Town currently top of that. And another mad league, but we'll come on to all that. But let's switch up a gear. And especially with time the way it is, quickly touch on the Premier League, and it will be quick, Nigel, so I do apologise. Everton getting an absolute stonking win at Nottingham Forest. Are Forest going to make it, yes or no, into the Champions League?
Oh, I mean, there's 5 now going into the Champions League, so it'd be an absolute disaster if they didn't.
What? Why is that? What's happened there?
Something to do with it's something to do with I think when Villa beat something to do with the Villa or Arsenal's result. Has meant that instead of 4, now there's 5 teams going up into the Europe. And they could end up with more, I think, because of this. Is it the conference? What did if they win that, they're going to the Euros as well. Champions League.
The UEFA coefficient, because we're in the top 2, we get one of the 5th Champions League space. And the way it could work is if, let's say, Villa win the Champions League but finish outside the top 5, that would get us a 6th team. And if Manchester United or Tottenham won the Europa League, we'd end up with a 7th team in the Champions League.
That's ridiculous.
Mate, the European Super League is going to be here at some point. Just give everyone a bit of an idea. Obviously, I'm really hoping Forest do it. It'd be great if they do. Newcastle are up in there as well, but it is tight. Forest obviously losing to Everton at home as well. Not a great result for them. Great result for Everton. 57 points Forest are on, and so you've got Chelsea in 6th, Villa in 7th on 54. Fulham then in 8th. I don't think they're really in contention for anything now. So there's 3 points really separating 7 up to 3. So I hope Forest do it. I do. Down the bottom of that league, I think, who goes up will come down. I can't. It's done, isn't it? It's done, and it will be like that every season. I think the only exception might be next season. If I was to say to you guys, predict the people who are going to get relegated out of the Premier League next season, if you include Burnley and Leeds, all right? Because I'm going to tell you what I think. Burnley, Leeds, and let's say West Brom go up. Who's coming down next season out of the Premier League? Who would you say?
I would say definitely West Brom.
Immediately.
Burnley, they're not going to stay up. And I mean, Bournemouth had a great season, but if they don't start well, they could be down there as well, couldn't they?
Do you know what? That's my prediction. If that's, I mean, it's hypothetical at this stage because we don't know who else is going up. I do think it will be Burnley, Leeds. I think Leeds will stay up, and I think that they will establish themselves in the Premier League. I think they're big enough, and they will get the money they require. I think, but I think Wolves with Burnley and whoever comes up will go down. I think on this one, I think Leeds. And I think the Premier League would want Leeds, the size of the club. What do you think, Tom? Would you predict that, or are you not really that worried?
Oh, not really that worried, obviously, but no, West Brom are a typical sort of yo-yo club between the Premier League and the Championship.
I mean, we don't have
no, but hypothetically, if I'm using your hypothetical example, it has to be them. It has to be Burnley as well. Again, they had a good stint in the Premier League, 5-6 years or whatever it was under Dyche. And then obviously they brought in Company who got them relegated and somehow managed to land the Bayern Munich job. Don't know how that works. The Premier League. I don't know. Don't really know too much.
It depends on how. It really depends on how good that back four at Burnley really is. I mean, they've created a record this year for clean sheets, haven't they? So, it all depends on how good are these back four that they've got. Can they compete at the Premier level? And if they are that good, maybe they've got a chance. Burnley,
maybe. Yeah.
They've got to get there first.
Maybe. Good. Adam, what's your feeling on that? Would you say we've discussed that we believe we're reaching a point now where the Premier League will become completely elite, that whoever goes up will always come down, but I think there's still a bit of jiggering going on. I still think there's one or two clubs that are big enough to go up there, and there's probably one or two clubs in the Premier League. Should we say that maybe
we're talking about the teams that are going to get relegated? But I mean, come on, Tottenham and Man United, they've had the worst seasons ever. I don't know how their managers have still kept their jobs, to be honest.
Our managers in that job.
15th and 14th in the league. Two
They're
big clubs like that.
37 points this season, Spurs, I read earlier.
I think they said. I
30.
think they said Spurs have scored
sorry.
more goals than anyone apart from Liverpool, but they let in so many goals. They're down the bottom half of the league.
Well, he refuses to defend, doesn't he? That manager
Yeah.
refuses to practice set pieces. That's why they can see so many goals and don't score any from set pieces. I don't know. I think he outs himself and he comes out in a public forum and puts all of his flaws on the table.
Won't get. Yeah,
I
think they're waiting to see what happens with the European game.
Maybe.
I think that's what's
I've got to say, out of the teams that have gone down, I've enjoyed watching Ipswich play. You know, even though they're not up to the standards of staying up, but out of the three that will go down, I think Ipswich should probably give it the best go. And they played some good football at times.
There's always one. Like last year was Luton, wasn't it? Luton actually played quite well last year. I hate saying that. But,
yeah, they did. They
Luton
did
actually play quite well last year. And now look at Luton.
Yeah.
Let's quickly move into the Championship anyway, because time. Look, the top two, I personally think, are done and dusted. I think the 5 points now is going to be irretrievable for Sheffield United, who are on a free bounce losing streak anyway. Sunderland have confirmed their playoff spot, and then really it is down to probably Millwall at 9th. You've got Middlesbrough, West Brom, Coventry, Bristol City. So it's going to be one of them. Sheffield United are obviously guaranteed playoff. Millwall might sneak in there. You never know. Down the bottom there, Derby's still hanging on there, Nigel.
Yeah, they conceded right in the last minute, didn't they?
Yeah. Alan's Cardiff, well, they didn't get the result they wanted against Stoke, did they, when he went off on Tuesday?
No, I think.
And then, like I say, Luton, you know.
I think Oxford had the result of the weekend. I mean, they were getting dragged into the relegation battle, but their 1-0 win at Sheffield Wednesday's just got to give them a bit of breathing space.
And Plymouth beating Sheffield United, that another.
Yeah, didn't see that one. Didn't see that one coming.
No, Sheffield United though, probably the biggest collapse this season. Three games on the bounce in the last quarter of the season,
and they were 1-0 up in that game as well. 2 late goals they conceded, wasn't it?
Plymouth are a funny side, aren't they? You know what I mean? You never know what you got. I'm going to quickly jump into League One. Obviously, quickly touch on the fact that Peterborough beat Birmingham in the, what's it called? The Virtue Cup?
Virtue Trophy. It's the FA Virtue Trophy.
Anyway, Peterborough taking the spoils there. So I think it's obviously between Wycombe and Wrexham. For me, Birmingham were always going to win it. Wrexham, you always thought were going to be there or thereabouts. Wycombe, to me, are the surprise package in that league. But they seem to be quite consistent.
No, I don't think they're a surprise package. They were in the Championship a couple of seasons ago, weren't they, under Gareth Ainsworth? And then they dropped back in, and they've always been sort of in and around a playoff mix since they're back in.
Yeah.
No, they don't. That one doesn't surprise me. The one that don't, well, I say the one that surprises me is the only difference out of the teams that you generally see sort of in that position in League One is Wrexham. And I think what we've seen historically now is to break that barrier and for it to not be the same 5 or 6 teams in with a shout, somebody has to come from somewhere with a lot of money in order to compete. You know what I mean? Birmingham obviously spent a lot of money to win that league.
I mean, Stockport haven't got the same level of backing as Wrexham, but they're up there.
They have. They've got big backing in Stockport. Yeah, there's big money in Stockport. Big money in Stockport.
What, as big as Wrexham?
Yeah. I don't know the facts and the figures, but I know it's not. I know
Adam's nodding now. I think Adam might know a bit more about that.
Well, I can't say that much, but yeah, I know that they're well backed, and I think the owner's quite ambitious. From what I understand, I think he's a local businessman, and but it sounds as though he's trying to go about things the right way at Stockport, and he's putting the money into infrastructure and is building something for the future at the club. But yeah, fair play to them. I hope he's successful. I went there quite a few times with Nuneaton when I worked there, and lovely people, great setup, and I wish them all the success in the world.
Excellent, yeah. They got a good support base as well, haven't they? Terrific support base.
Absolutely,
yeah. All right, look, we are running a bit out of time, so I'll quickly rush through into League Two, and because I've got a few more bits to do, and we are desperately running out of time. So Port Vale there leading the charge, having a good season. Let me just bring that up. Yeah,
I think Walsall's collapse is the big story in League Two.
Yes,
huge, isn't it?
That's huge. Collapse,
unbelievable,
isn't it? Yeah. Well, I was saying about the Sheffield United one, but that is.
Well, Doncaster are in fourth, and they've got a game in hand, and they're only a point behind Walsall, so Walsall could end up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
After the league was virtually theirs.
Yeah.
That's.
I think it's something like 2 wins in 16 now, or something crazy like that. It's relegation form basically
and
since the turn of the year.
It exactly shows you how big that collapse is. Is that they're still in consent? They're still in the automatic spots with such a poor record. Just shows you how well they had started. But yeah, mind you, there's something about Walsall, because in your league, weren't Walsall Wood on paper probably going to be the strongest side in the league before they went ping because overspending money?
They had spent a lot of money, brought in a lot of Step 3 players, from what I understand. I don't know a massive amount about them because they'd already pulled out the league before we played them. Well, I think we were supposed to be their next fixture before they did fall apart. So I've still got the match programs. If anyone wants a copy of that match program of a game that was never played, please let me know. I've got loads of them. But it sounds as though promises were made that weren't kept, wages weren't paid, and then the players eventually, quite rightly so, refused to play. But from what I understand, there's another team in Step 4 that haven't paid their players for several months, but they're still going.
That's just mad, isn't it?
Crazy.
It's a business. It's not a football team or football club. It's a business, mate.
I hate that terminology, but you're right. I hate the terminology, but that's what I think. I'm so anti-modern day football, because what was a working class livelihood for most people, like their life depended on their football club, has become a business. You're absolutely right.
No, Nigel's right, though. I mean, even at our level, it's effectively a business. We are a non-profit, obviously, so anything that we do gain goes back out, whether that's on infrastructure, whether that's on the playing staff, or whether that's getting more staff in. We don't take any money out of it. There isn't really any money to take out of it, but you know, it is the way of things now, and you see some teams are run sensibly, some teams are just living beyond their means, and at some point it's all going to come crashing down. I'm surprised that the number of clubs that have gone out of business, especially since COVID, is as low as it is. I would have expected twice as many to go. Yeah,
that's a good point, actually. I'm just going to catch up with some of the comments that come on. That Gary Clark there, obviously Carlton Town. I'm going to touch on some stuff they've been doing, which I think is a fantastic idea in a little while, but he's obviously a big Forest supporter as well, Gary, and he said Forest will be okay. I hope so. I'd like to see you back in Europe. We've just got Terry reckons West Brom, Burnley, West Ham, or Wolves to go down. Nick Paul, how are you, Nick? Hope you're doing well. Here's one for you guys. Who do you guys think will win Championship playoffs this year? So you've got Sheffield United, Sunderland confirmed. It's difficult to answer this in some ways, Nick, because you've got 5 sides vying for the last 2 playoffs. So I guess I think I'd put my money on Sunderland.
That's what I was going to say. It's a difficult question to answer, though, because we don't know who's in it yet.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Well, I think Sheffield United are potentially going to fall away, and I hope so, because I really don't like them. Fingers crossed, Coventry are going to sneak in with Frank Lampard, and they're going to be the team of destiny this year, and they're going to get over the hump, and they're going to do it.
I'll tell you what, I don't think anybody would expect Bristol City to be in the position they're in at the moment.
No,
I was
Really good.
I was just going to say Bristol City could surprise everyone.
Yeah, I must admit, when I looked at the table the other day and see them there, I was like, I didn't realise they were there, and I'm like, oh bloody hell, yeah.
Thing is with the playoffs,
Darren,
guys. I mean, you form over the season to get you into the playoffs. That all goes out the window. It's whatever team turns up for the matches. You know, it's you could win the last ever matches. You have a bad day, you're out of it. So it's when they've all qualified and we know who's playing who. It's whoever shows up on the day. I mean, you wouldn't put your money on Peterborough beating Birmingham yesterday, would you? So
no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
no.
Yeah.
So Nick's answering, come back. I would like to see Sunderland, only as wife's a Sunderland fan. Go on.
She's
Nick.
come down a long way to see you then, Nick, isn't she? Crawley, Jesus.
Yeah. Okay, right. I've got to move on. So I was just talking about Gary Clark there. I just wanted to bring this up now. Now, we did put a thing up on our socials about Middlesbrough fans went to Chorley and used Chorley as their away pub. There's a couple of other clubs been doing it. Now, I was talking to Gary a few weeks ago, but on Saturday, I knew this was going to be happening. Let me just bring it up. So recently, a while ago, should I say, they had Newcastle come down in a coach. So there's one coach, and Colton Town opened their arms and said, you can use us as a away pub because they're literally 10 minutes up the road from Forest. So the coaches, and there's plenty of room to park the coaches. I've got a photo in a minute. And if one coach pulled in, was there for a couple of hours or something, and they took me 1,500 quid over the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
Right, it's obviously a beer coach, and then he was telling me, and it happened on Saturday. They had 250 Everton fans, so I think there was a load of coaches there. But not only that, let me just we put this post up about it. So that's them at Colton Town, the coaches, a great fan area. It's really good because it's allowing these clubs to make a bit of extra money, and they're not getting fleeced for their beers, clearly. But also what Colton Town did on Saturday is a great friend of ours with the show and everything is Ian Storey-Moore there. Obviously, Boatsy, Gary Clark there. I'm not sure up in the middle will be an Everton fan. But Ian Storey-Moore went down there and did a bit of a talk and all that, which is great because he's a footballing legend from back in the 70s. So they laid all that on, and they're going to open themselves up to do that more often. And again, I'm guessing they made quite a bit of money over the bar. I guess at Quorn, difficult because you're not ideally situated for that sort of setup. But there are a number of clubs that would be, and they should take the leap out of Chorley.
Leicester
It's all
St
about
Andrews.
bringing revenue into a club, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's as Tom was saying earlier, Leicester St Andrews. I mean, if you were, I don't know what the parking's like there, but it's not it's probably a 15-minute walk to the King Power. I would have thought.
Literally through the gate, and there's ample parking.
Yeah, but
they get coaches.
The championship games next season.
And they get coaches.
No issues. They have an away coach themselves when they go away themselves.
Yeah, because that's the key, is to get coaches to use you as the away pub.
Midlands clubs especially should be really well placed geographically for that, because like you're in the middle of everything.
Well, if any clubs are watching what we're talking about now, something for them to think about.
100%.
It's worked really, really well at Chorley. It's worked really, really well at Colton. I think there's another couple of clubs doing it. Look, if you're near a league club, and it don't have to be Premier League, it can be any league club where, even League Two, you might get 2 or 3 coaches, of away fans. If you're near a league club, you should have a look into it. You really should. Okay, going to crack on, gentlemen. What league am I looking at here? Right, I'm going to have a look at Step 3. Step 3 is looking really, really interesting. So you've got the Isthmian League Premier Division, Dartford, Billericay, all there. I mean, look, if you look at that, I think it's hard to see, isn't it, really? But you're looking at about 9 points separating the top 5 there. You've got Southern Premier Central, which is mad. Bedford Town, 3 points clear of Kettering, who earlier in the season you thought had the league wrapped up, in all fairness. But just behind them, you've got the likes of Hells Owen, Telford, all breathing down the neck. So that again is another league. Really, really. I'll let you guys have your say in a minute. I'll just quickly get this done. Then you've got the Northern Premier Division. Macclesfield obviously romped that league, as we know. But there's a battle going on there. Worksop and Stockton and Guiseley there. And then you've got the Southern South. That interesting stuff at Merthyr just a couple of weeks ago. They were 11 points clear, and things haven't gone their way as well as they would like. Although that doesn't look very clear on mine, but they are actually only 5 points clear at the moment now from Tottenham. So yeah, very, very tight. That's all going to go out of the wire in that league. Let me bring that off, gentlemen. Any comments on any of that you'd like to add?
Yeah. One team that stands out for me there in the Isthmian Premier League is Cray Valley Paper Mills. I remember them from, I think, last season. They had a good FA Cup run, didn't they? They took Charlton to a replay at the Valley, and I think they got beat quite heavily in the replay, but they took them there 1-1. So it's nice to see them going steady in with a chance of playoffs there. That's really good.
Yeah. Anything for me? I think the Merthyr one. I went to them, like I say, and I thought they're a great club, and they deserve to, as a club, as a setup. It was great football as well. I'd like to see them go up, but I'm all for the competition to be tight as well, because that's what is so attractive about non-league football as well. You know.
Well, it was very interesting that they turned down that multi-million-pound offer from the League of Wales. So I'd love to see them do well in the National League North next year.
I can give you an insight into that. I got the feeling when I was there that not everybody was happy about that decision. That's the feeling I got there. Some people felt they should, but the offer wasn't exactly what they were saying it was.
No. I understand there are a lot of caveats, and there were a lot of caveats through to get that 6 million.
I think 4 million of that would have been made up in grants and stuff like that. I think the initial payout might have been 2. Fan-owned club, 96% of them voted to stay where they were, and from having Alan on the show a couple of times as well. If you talk to a Welshman from South Wales, particularly, they'll tell you that the Welsh League is not what it's cracked up to be. And I think he was saying Barry Town destroyed them being in that league. They were once upon a time in playing English football. They moved into the Welsh League and it all but destroyed them. You've got TNS, who win the league every year. The owner of that league is a hugely clever businessman who makes £1 million a year from that club, because what they do, he puts enough money in to ensure they win the league. They win the league and they get a huge payout going into the European Cup. So it's all, do you know what I mean? So I'd like to think they made the right decision, because if they go on an upward trajectory, they can go so much further than what they can playing in front of 60 people in Aberystwyth or whatever, you know.
But so I went to, I think it was Step 2 in Wales. I went to see Airbus not long ago. It's the first time I'd ever been to watch a game in Wales. And there were less than 100 people there. I was quite surprised at how low the gate was. Nice setup, but I've got to say the standard of football that I saw that day was pretty eye-opening in terms of how poor it was.
I think if you look at the fact it was 96% voted no, probably tells you the story. With that lure, even though it wasn't what it was, it's still a lure, a bit of money. The quality of football, the standard of football, the it was, especially with them in a very good chance that they're going to be a National League again. Similar situation with you. Are they going to be north or south? They don't. That's something they can't predict either at this stage. But yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, what a decision that was! Huge decision.
There's a good comment there, Gary, from Boatsy.
Sorry, go on. Let me.
From Boatsy about obviously having the Everton fans at Carlton saying they more than doubled their match day take. They more than doubled their match day takings. That is phenomenal, isn't it? What an idea to open it up as an away pub, and yeah, that is just a real money spin. A really good sort of business decision. I hope
there are some clubs watching this, or fans of clubs that non-league clubs that need more revenue and are in a position to do it. I hope you see what we're putting out here, and it is up on us. That we did a thing on the Chorley one with Middlesbrough. We put up the Nottingham Forest one. It's fantastic business.
And another comment really there, Terry Tuna. Quorn versus League is known as the vegetarian derby. Quality.
Oh dear.
Get him on the show. Get him on the show. Get this fella on the show.
Mate, get Elton on the show.
That's funny.
There's nothing vegetarian. Mate, he'd come on tomorrow, mate. Trust me. He's all right. When you spent a bit of time with the fella.
Yeah. It's...
What it was, Nigel, Elton John's book, there's a picture of Nigel in it, right?
Is there now?
On the FA Cup, when they celebrated the FA Cup final in '84, there's a picture of Nigel, Graham Taylor, and Elton John.
Okay.
So, because it's in Elton's book, this guy wanted a picture.
Fair one.
But yeah, nice guy though, really nice guy.
He sold it at a car boot for £2.50, I heard.
Yeah. He's just the person that talk football all day long to you. You know, he's wanted it. Great character though. Yeah.
The vegetarian derby. That's good.
No,
that is funny. I like that.
League versus Quorn. That is funny. But yeah, no. I do hope that some teams might pick up on us and what we're highlighting.
It's a huge gap in the market. That is huge.
Great business opportunity for clubs in the right place. You know, like we were saying with Quorn, not exactly perfectly positioned for that. But yeah, what's 50p, mate? What's that? He's come back saying 50.
I think he's saying that's how much he sold the book for.
Right, quickly. What we're looking at? Oh my God, it's 7 o'clock, and
no, it's not, Gary. It's 8 o'clock.
Let's have a venture into National League North and South, guys. I've got to check out at 8. Yeah, I understand, Nige. Quickly there. Scunthorpe on 84, Kidderminster Harriers on 83, Brackley on 83, Chester on 78. Wow, look at that. That's tight as anything there. That's going down to the wire, isn't it? Without a doubt. And then I know Truro got an absolutely stonking away win at Worthing to bring that both on 83 points. 81, 80, 79, Dorking Wanderers there. Boreham Wood on 77. Again, another stonking league. Nigel, do you want to say something before we go about them two leagues? They are amazing. They are going to the wire.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think every level of football apart from the Premier League this year, it's all going right to the wire, isn't it? And it's been really interesting. It's been a great season. Like I said, no matter what football you're watching, it's only the Premier League that's, you know.
Yeah, it's what you want. But the Premier League, Forest is the surprise package there. You know, but outside of that,
I'll tell you what though, if you look at the Championship, League One and League Two, there's a team in the playoff positions that have put a run together, and they've got up there like Bristol City or Coventry. You know, before Christmas, you'd be looking at their teams thinking they've got no chance. So that's how good it's been this year. That, you know, 1 minute you're thinking
that's what we want.
Yeah, that's 1 minute you're thinking, you know what the top three are going to be.
We want competition in the game we all love. We want competition, and unfortunately, I think competition's been a bit lost in recent years. And seeing the league so tight, competition in the Premier League
I'll tell you what, before I do go it, because I have got to go in a minute. They use this automated offside thing on Saturday for the first time.
Yeah.
And it worked.
The semi-automated offside.
Yeah, got a lot of positive feedback. It was a lot quicker. There was no long waits. It was straight away virtually. So at least that's one thing that's improved.
Some improvement then, yeah. Well, Nige,
I've got to go.
I'll catch you next week, yeah? I'll give you a bill in the week.
Adam, it's been a pleasure meeting you, mate. And good luck with next season. All right. Cheers,
you too, Nigel. Take care.
See you, Nige.
Thanks, Nige. Cheers, mate. Guys, obviously with Nigel going, but yeah, North and South, both of them leagues, they're so tight at the top, aren't they? Isn't it great? It's great for football, isn't it?
It's fascinating, and I spent a couple of years in the National League North when I was at Nuneaton, and it is such a difficult division to get out of. And as Tom said a little while ago, that you get a team late in the season that will put a run together and get in one of those playoff places, and because the playoffs go all the way down to 7th, anyone's got a chance, even this late in the season. I think it's great, and I hope they do. Because I know it's been talked about that the playoffs at Step 3 and Step 4 next season will go down to 7th place as well. It'll be the same model. I think that's just brilliant for Step 3 and Step 4 football.
I think it has to. I think it has to be. I think there has to be a uniform layout across the whole pyramid for me. Yeah. I think that's why the 3 up, 3 down is gathering so much weight as well. Just to offer that level playing field. Because you talk about the National League North and South being hard leagues to get out of. Obviously, the National League and then obviously into the Football League, that's probably got to be the hardest league to get out of in football. No matter what.
Well, you look at a couple of the teams that have come out of the National North recently. I mean, Stockport and York City were languishing down there for years. And it just took them so long to get out of there. And once they did, look at what they've done in the last few years. Stockport now in League One pushing there, and York City, I think they're going to push Barnet all the way in the National League, and who's to say they're not going to win the playoffs there?
The only thing with that is there's been significant financial backing for both of them teams.
Fair point.
However, you can't take it away from the fans. The fans don't control who comes in and buys a club, and so many times these fans fall foul of rogue owners. So if there's somebody who's going to come in and put considerable amounts of money into a club, you can't take it away from the fans, and you have to say good luck to them.
But again, both of those clubs, yes, there's been a lot of investment. You look at the infrastructure that's been put in place.
Oh, they've spent wisely. They've spent wisely. Oh, yeah. They've not just gone out and bought the best players and put them into a team where there's no direction. They've got the right managers. They've got the right staff. And so you take nothing away from them.
Yeah. That leads me on to something, and I have missed something actually. Quickly, and we've gone over, but as long as you two are okay for a few more minutes, I would like to touch on one of these clubs. Big did I do this? Congratulations to Cleveland. Did I do this earlier?
No, mate.
I didn't. No. Yeah, I did. I did mention it. Oh,
did you?
Anyway, I didn't put that up, did I? Yeah, I did.
No,
I'm sure I did.
But
anyway,
did, but...
well done, Cleveland. Well done, Real Bedford. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, both promoted this weekend. But Real Bedford, now you're talking money and investments and everything else, right? You know where I'm coming from with this. You're both smiling, right? So the announcement by the government this week tells you everything you need to know about that, doesn't it?
Sorry, what was the announcement? I missed that.
About the massive, biggest ever universal theme park being built in Bedford.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
Now,
sorry.
I know a little bit about it, and all right, it might be good. I don't know. There's still, I can't get to the bottom of what's happening with the so-called merger situation. But what we do know is Mr. McIntosh, is that his name? I think it is. He's been trying to buy Bedford Town for quite a few years, fan-owned club again, and they've rejected that on numerous occasions. So he bought the club next door because there's a fence in between them. Don't know if you've ever been down the New Era Stadium, but yeah, there's a fence in between them, and the other side is the old slaughterhouse. But anyway,
oh God,
it is seriously.
Send the rogue owners to there then.
Not very nice, you know what I mean? And but anyway, so obviously, as far as, and again, I can't confirm, and please don't think I know this, but rumour has it that Bedford Town can't afford to survive after this season. Rumour, right? Even though they are on the verge of going up potentially into one of the National League leagues. And
I did, just on that, sorry, Gary, if I can interrupt. My understanding of it is, and I think this probably stems back to when there was the merger in Ossett. Let's say Bedford Town do win that league and go to National League North, I assume it would be. If they were to merge with Royal Bedford,
right.
Would they not have to drop back down to step 3? Because you would have to play at the step that the
100%,
lowest team was
and
at.
that has been declared already. Yeah, so if they go up, they're not necessarily going to go up, and that's what.
How would Bedford Towns feel about that?
I don't think they're very happy. I've reached out. I've tried to reach out to them to see if they'll let me go down and cover their last game of the season, which is on track. They're home to, I think, St Ives Town. I'm not sure now, but anyway, but I don't know whether that's people like us will be welcomed if there's so much controversy going on. I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, you're right. They can't go up if they merge. So the thing is, what's happened is, so your man has sold 45% of Real Bedford because he bought them and he's obviously ploughed money into them. He has now sold 45% of Real Bedford to these two American brothers, multi-billionaire brothers, from what I've got this off of sort of fairly good source, £3.1 million. Now,
the Winklevoss
now
twins.
think about who is it? Sorry,
Winklevoss.
That's it.
Winklevoss.
Now, with the announcement of what is going to be happening in Bedford, and they are declaring the chairman, the current whatever, I don't know what percentage he owns, must own 55, but he's actually come out on radio and said, well, look, we'll be in the league in 7 or 8 years. And Universal open in 6. Bedford suddenly massively on the map.
It just stinks.
So
it just, the whole thing just stinks, doesn't it?
It? I feel sorry for the Bedford Town
I
fans.
do, because they're being pushed out of their own home. They're being pushed out of their own local area. That club's got a prestigious and proud traditional history in English football. Oh,
it has got massive. Yeah, I mean, in actual fact, they've got something in history that the first ever non-league televised game was Bedford Town versus Cambridge United.
And Walsh would never take that away from them. Those things sort of get pushed to the back, and more that the club drops, and then ultimately, I think they're possibly going to be a bit of a victim of their own success if they go up, because the commitments, obviously financially, are so much more, and I think it's inevitable. And I don't like to say this, I don't like to admit this, but I think it's inevitable that they are going to become no more for me. And that's
going to be so
that's
sad.
A crying shame. That's a shame, because you got people coming in, obviously buying English football clubs. No problem with that, because it's part of the evolution of football. That's fine. But what I don't like is trying to take over an area and flaunting your money, throwing your money about, winkle, pinkle, or whatever they're bleeding called. Fuck off and leave our non-league teams alone.
Ooh, fighting talk. Well, the other thing as well is that, and this don't make sense. So you've got Bedford Rugby Club, who not a bad side, been a Premier League side at some points in their life, and they've got Gordon Road. Gordon Road Stadium, which is not far down the road from where they are, obviously, and now he's actually airing the possibility of doing a grand show with Bedford Rugby Club. That ain't going to happen, because that pitch will not cope.
No.
That pitch will not cope. No.
I like the idea. I like the thinking, though, trying to uphold. Right, let's.
Well, they obviously got a business plan there, and they need to it needs to develop rather quickly, doesn't it? If they want to achieve that ambition that they've got. So straight away, they can move into a larger stadium, but I can't see how that pitch will hold up with football.
Yeah,
but
I
anyway,
can't either, but
I
do
know.
like the
It's a
initiative,
messy
though. I do
one,
like the idea.
I'm
I do like the fact that they want to support, you know, a fellow club. I do like that.
Well, I guess as we've discussed, there's probably going to be a lot more investment. And if they are moving into a bigger stadium, then there's the money there available to improve the quality of that pitch, perhaps, so that it would stand up and would take all of that use. But who knows?
I don't know.
But I would have thought, unless this has been bubbling along in the background for considerably longer than it's been made public, that I don't see how they'd be anywhere close to putting everything they need in place to get that done this season.
Yeah.
Just feels like it should probably be a year down the road, if anything. But I don't know.
Yeah.
This is outside looking in. But just on Cleethorpes Town, we went there earlier in the year and played them in the FA Cup, and they wiped the floor with us. The game was over in 30 minutes, and congratulations to them. They've been brilliant all season as well. You know, I'm really pleased for them.
Look at me going.
And I don't want to play them again in Step 3. So please don't put us in the Northern Premier League.
Yeah.
You say about there, Gary. Obviously, you know, Adam, you mentioned it. The money's there to improve that pitch if they want, etc., etc. I have no issue because, again, I made the point earlier. You can't take anything away from the fans. You know, I'm pleased for the fans that this club is going to progress and they've got the financial backing. But it's not just about the fans of that club; it's the local wider community that you need to get on side. And by pushing out,
but the Bedford Town fans, are they on side with it?
well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. In order to get people on side, you've got to respect everything in the local area, not try to push something out to elevate yourself. If you have to step on people to elevate yourself and elevate your own success, then you're not successful at all, are you? If you can't do it organically and via the right methods, then how are you successful? Or do they care about that?
No, I don't know. I mean,
it feels a bit like Donald Trump for a long, long time was trying to buy an NFL team, but the NFL owners didn't want to let him into the club. So we ended up buying a USFL team, which was a rival to the NFL at that time. And he ran it into the ground within the space of a year. It's hard to imagine Donald Trump doing anything along those lines, but he ran that into the ground within the space of a year, and he was off to whatever took his interest next.
Run me a bath, let alone
who knows what sort of... Exactly, yeah. But yeah, there's a great documentary about that. If you want to check it out, it's one of the ESPN 30 for 30. Can't remember what it was called, but there you go. Check it out.
Can't remember what it's called. Just go and find it.
Great recommendation. Just find it.
It really is a complicated subject around the Bedford scenario, one of which we don't genuinely know enough about. So anyone listening, we don't know enough. We know little bits. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I would, if I was a gambling man, which I'm not, I would put money on it has something to do with the announcement of this Europe's biggest universal, the only one outside of America as well. That will be the biggest one outside of America. So I got a feeling something to do with that. Got to be. But anyway, who knows? We shall watch with anticipation. Okay, I'm going to call it a day.
The documentary. The documentary is called "Small Potatoes: Who Killed the USFL." It's only 50 minutes, but it's an interesting study of how bad management can destroy a business and a league.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
And a depressing forebearer of what's to come in the world. So maybe give it a miss. Actually,
the world's depressing enough. So I'm going to go around the table. We'll start with Tom. Any last words from you, my friend?
Well, I was going to finish positively. You wound me up now with all this talk of Yanks and money and all the rest of it. You just wound me up. No,
far too many Americans in our game.
Yeah,
mate.
you know it.
Far too many Americans in our British game.
Yeah, it's a similar. Anyway. There's similar examples, but we've waffled on enough, haven't we, about that? I want to just obviously shout out to Brett, the chairman at Leicester St Andrews, and his team, and thank them immensely for having me down on Saturday. It was a thoroughly enjoyable day, as I said. Article for that one's going to be ready, I hope, tomorrow. Yes.
did you say he's going to come on the show
Yes,
next
yeah,
week?
he's going to be on the show next week with us, next Tuesday.
So we're talking into a business venture, become a way pub.
Yeah, there you go. That's it, mate. That's it. We'll plant that seed. But yeah, thanks go out to him and everybody within the club, especially those that took the time to speak to me, which a lot of people wanted to speak to me, which was great. Yeah, it's a fantastic family community club. It is really the hub of that local area. It's a phenomenal club, and there's big things happening there. And I can't wait to put my article out for everybody to see. It's going to be brilliant.
And do you know what's really nice, Tom, is and this is again, you know, non-league football. All these clubs, we say the same things after every visit.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's wonderful that we can.
Yeah.
The non-league clubs are the hubs of a community, and unfortunately, I don't. And I know I say this all the time, and I strongly stand by this statement. I don't believe either the FA or the government truly understand how important these clubs are to getting kids off the street. You know, the clubs we've been to that say, yeah, we've got 1,000 people playing football, you know, or it's just every club, you know, the youth setups. I was talking to Johnny, who does the under 18s, and he was telling us about the other youth side. Every club is keeping kids off the street.
Yeah.
We got major problems socially, and the knife crime and everything. If only they would realise the importance of the community football clubs and how much they put into a community to keep the kids off the street. You know, you've got kids. Your club's open 24 hours a day. Well, no, right. It's open every day of the week, though, isn't it? There's always something going on, and that's the same with every club. I just hope, and I will keep banging this out all the time, there needs to be more recognition about the importance of these community clubs, because it's not just about Saturday at 3:00. It's not just about Quorn winning the league. It's about what Quorn do for their community and what every non-league club does for their community. And in a lot of cases, the amount of men, women, girls and boys that are involved with a lot of these clubs. I was talking to Sutton United, Step 6 club. They have over 1,000 kiddies and adults. They run about 50 teams.
The same as Colville when we were there, wasn't it, Gaz? They had 900 people a week, wasn't it? Or something?
And I don't believe, and I stand corrected maybe, but I don't believe that you see that in the Premier League. These Premier League clubs, yes, they do their things for the community. I bet they haven't got 1,000 local kids playing football.
I wouldn't have thought so. Not local, certainly. And any people they bring into their academy,
So,
it's for future
when they
games.
talk,
It's not for the right reasons,
sorry,
is it? It's to get them ready for the first team, to potentially bring something back to the club. But I think, Gary, I know. Sorry, and I'm conscious of the time. But you said there you don't think that the FA and the government understands the impact that these clubs have on the communities. I think they do, because the evidence is there, the numbers are there. But what they don't do, or what they do rather, that is kept away.
Or
they ignore it, number one, and they consciously make an effort to keep it away from mainstream media, because they're not putting the money into it that they should, because they're not giving it the time that they should. So they keep it away from mainstream media.
I hear what you're saying, and I think you're right. But I do also think that they don't look at a football. Sorry about this, Adam. We're going on the soapbox run here. I just think that when they look at a football club in grassroots level or non-league level, they look at football club and it's a football club. What they don't, I just don't believe they look behind that facade of the football club, and they're actually a community hub rather than a football club, maybe. And that's not I don't think it's recognised, or it's ignored, as you said, Tom. It's either or. But yeah, Tom, please. Adam, please. Yeah, have your two penneth.
Yeah, I mean, so we recently changed MP at the last election. New guy came in, and we wrote to him immediately, said, look, if you want to use our clubhouse for your MP surgeries, by all means, come use it free of charge. We're trying to do more to become a bit of a place that people from the community can come. We're trying to start an Andy's Man Club. We do. Some of the volunteers get together once a month and cook meals for the homeless. So we're trying to do our bit to, really engage with the community. And the local MP came down for the homeless meals, but he's got probably 3 clubs in his constituency. There's us, Loughborough Students, and Shepshed Dynamo playing at Step 4, and we've played we've had quite a lot of games between all of those teams. We send him emails, and we've already got a bit of a relationship with him because he's held a surgery here, and he came down for a photo shoot with the homeless thing. But trying to get him to come to a game, it's just mothballs, nothing. We don't hear anything. And you would have thought that you've got a team in your constituency that's going to play at the highest level that, as far as I'm aware, anyone in this constituency has ever played.
Yeah. He'll use the club to his advantage, though, in terms of the facilities to host whatever he wants to host. But when it comes to giving something back, it's a different story altogether. His attitude changes completely. I'm just guessing, of course, based on what you've said, but
well, we get one photo a week of him drinking in a different pub in the constituency, man of the people, and all that sort of stuff. But come to a football match then.
Come and Junior Farage is drinking his pint.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Easter Monday, go to Shepshed, watch us against Shepshed on Easter Monday. You'll have 400 or 500 of your constituents there. Mingle with people, see what's happening at clubs in your local communities. But I mean, we can't get it. I don't know how successful other clubs are in getting any sort of visit from the MP.
I think Kettering, just managed to get a visit once. They get the mayor down there a bit as well. Kettering, I know they do that there, but
I've not heard of it anywhere else. I know that much.
Well, look, at the end of the day, the truth is, if they did visit like we do, we go and visit. We don't go to cover a particular game. The game is second place when we go anywhere. It's about promoting the club. What does it do? What does it do for the community and the game? Like when we went to Quorn, it was about, I wanted it to be sort of like I said to you, I hope that I've sort of achieved maybe some sort of souvenir for celebrate that day. But at the same time, I didn't put any footage of the game on. It was all about talking to people. It was about understanding the club and about promoting the facilities and everything else. And if these people, these MPs, whatever, they go rattling on, oh yeah, we've got to do this about knife crime. Oh my God, people getting stabbed. And people, but then look at what you do. The youth clubs have been ripped out of everywhere. They've got no youth clubs anywhere. Like I had in my day, you have youth clubs.
Yeah, I even had it. I know there's a bit of an age gap, but it was still about even when I was a kid, even as a teenager.
So all these things now are gone. So you let's just take, for example, I'll give you an example of Sutton United. So I was having a good chat with them. They have, I think it's 49 teams over boys, girls, men, women, walking, football, whatever. Are actually Colville. Let's use that one. When we went to Colville, 900 children benefit from the football, which we got that figure off them. 900 children participate in the youth setup there, and it's a great facility there, isn't it?
Really
anyway,
good.
I mean, they've got multiple pitches and whatever, but they if that club wasn't there, where would them 900 kids be?
Yeah, exactly.
They'd be on the street corners. So
yeah, quite possibly.
I'm going to always shout about this because my experience in going around these clubs, meeting the most amazing people, I have to say, everywhere I've been, everyone's amazing, really good people, right? And I've learned We lost
Yeah,
Adam.
it looks like it. Our man's been back on. Your Rocket Man's been back on. Listen to this. It was my wife's birthday on Sunday, so I bought her a new fridge. You should have seen her face like that when she opened the door. Get him on the show. Get him on the show. Oh my God. And Nick Paul, if you're still watching, you can sing for your 3 points on the 26th, mate.
That's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
What on earth?
I don't know if you're reading that. Terry's put that. I thought he'd had a bit of humour. Okay, look, people.
I've got to go.
Actually, I know we've had a lot of views tonight, and yeah, we've jumped on the soapbox at the end, and I do jump on my soapbox on a regular basis, but I feel strongly about it because I visit all these clubs. I see what they do. I hear, and we look into it in depth, and. I can tell you, Billericay Town. I went to Billericay Town. Greg Lake, who's been on the show a couple of times, was one of the co-owners down at Billericay Town, and 86 sides,
Unbelievable.
that they run over every age group. Walk-in and all walk-in football as well. They're very lucky though. They have two 4G pitches, so they've got the main one and they've got one sat behind it as well, so they've got a really good facility there. But I see all this and I just struggle when I hear them go on about the money distribution. I see players like Mo Salah this week saying how happy he is to stay at Liverpool for another 2 years.
I bet he is.
I bet you are.
Yeah,
mate.
I bet you are.
£400,000 a week. Of course you're happy. Behave. 400 grand, and then I go to these clubs and I see what they do. The volunteers are amazing. The sponsors are amazing, because let's face it, sponsors for non-league clubs, most of them are not going to get any commercial return. They do it because they want to contribute back, and they do it, a lot of them, because they support the club as well. My friend Paul at Colville,
nice guy.
He sponsors them for love, there we are, mate.
There we are.
We'll keep the good fight going. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight, Adam, and I hope you don't mind us having the soapbox session at the end.
Go right ahead. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, and thank you for coming down and putting that video together. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, and I hope you've enjoyed this, and you'll come and join us at another occasion.
Anytime you want me, just give me a shout.
Yeah, no, definitely. You got the gist of what this is about now. It's open chat. Sometimes we go into the leagues like we have, because right now they're very relevant, or sometimes we're just sitting around.
No, I'm always happy to talk football. If I wasn't doing this, my partner would have me emptying litter trays and feeding cats. So by all means, have me on anytime you want.
Okay, yeah, all right, mate. No, it's a pleasure. Everyone, okay. Oh, let me just see make sure I've not missed anyone in the chat. Think we are there or thereabouts. Nick Paul, we need it, Lowell. We need what? We need what?
He said because we got them on the 26th. I said you can sing for your 3 points. He said we need it. Yeah, we've got them. Yeah,
I've got it. They're playing off. Everyone, if you're watching this after the live show, don't bother. Well, no, you can drop a comment. They will come up on it, but we won't be there to see them. Although we'll pick them up off our social media. But yeah. As always, have a really lovely week. I think we're going to get a little bit of rain, and be safe more than anything, everyone. Great weekend of football coming up. Some amazing football coming up over the next couple of weeks, really. So whatever game you're at, enjoy it. And yeah, support your local side, everyone. Support your local side. But and if you can't support your local side, go to an away game where the away pub is a non-league side. That would be even better. And that's it. So we'll catch you all next Tuesday, because obviously it's Bank Holiday Monday, so we'll do it on the Tuesday. Please join us then. Hope you've enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, we'd love to have you back on again, Adam, without a doubt. If you want to hang on for a moment, though, as always, I'm never ready to finish. So let me get ready. I'm never, ever, ever ready. But anyway, goodbye, everybody. Have a lovely week.